Hello foodies, and welcome back to Foodie Legends. We're here to talk about the best food to eat around the world and their history. In our previous video, we discussed the best hangover foods to eat in the city of Seoul. However, our food journey in South Korea does not end there. Today, we are going to explore the best foods to eat in Jeolla province, one of the most iconic regions of South Korea.
This is where the fun begins.
But before we dive in, don't forget to hit the subscribe and notification bell so you guys can catch up to our latest food journeys.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Alright guys, let's jump in. The Jeolla province can be considered as a portal to South Korea's history. It has a very rich record of its past, going as far as the year 600s. Jeolla province was one of the ancient 8 provinces of Korea during the era of the Joseon Kingdom, a dynasty that lasted for over 5 centuries. This province was composed of what will be known today as North and South Jeolla, Gwangju province, and the Jeju province. Its provincial capital is located in Jeonju, the present capital of North Jeolla. Meanwhile, there's an entire inland region within the province, still known today as the Honam region, which literally means south of the lake. In terms of geography, Jeolla province has a rich and diverse source where cooks can get their fresh ingredients. It shares a border in the north with the Gejang province on its east, and is the Gyeongsang province, East China Sea on the south, and Yellow Sea on the west. On its eastern border is the Sobak Mountains, and there are 3 rivers flowing throughout the land: Yongsan, Samjin, and Mangyong River. The cuisine of Jeolla province has a very rich and luxurious style.
Fun coupons! See that? A fun coupon!
Almost similar to the cuisine of the Gyeong province, which was the old capital of the Goryeo Kingdom. While the Gyeong cuisine retained the conservative streak of the Goryeo dynasty, Jeolla cuisine is on the other hand has its own unique culinary style, rooted from the gastronomic preferences of the Yangban or the ruling class of the Joseon dynasty, then explaining the luxurious part of the cuisine. Am I right?
Thank you.
Coming in number 1 on our list is the Jeonju Bibimbap, arguably the most popular dish amongst foreigners and a gateway to Korean cuisine. Nothing speaks louder as Korean food like the wonderful bowl of steamed rice, meat, and a million types of vegetables.
Yeah, boy.
The word bibimbap literally means mixed rice. Bibin in Korean means mixing rice, while bap is a noun that refers to rice. Jeonju Bibimbap is a beloved Korean food because it is an all-in-one dish. It already has the rice and the meat and vegetables served in a lunchbox or stone bowl. All you have to do is mix it with your chopstick and voila! There you have a meal that is packed with everything from the food pyramid. No one knows the exact history of the Jeonju Bibimbap. Based on historical records, however, it was already a popular food 200 years ago. Most food experts agree that Jeonju Bibimbap originated from the royal cuisine of the Joseon royal dynasty, eventually finding its way to the commoners. Hey, even people like us deserve the goodies, yeah?
Of course!
Jeonju Bibimbap is quite an intimidating dish because it has a lot of ingredients, but it's actually not very hard to prepare. First, the rice is boiled, preferably with beef broth and bean sprout. Other vegetables can be added too, depending on your preference or on the seasonal ingredients such as mushrooms, kimchi, beef, turnips, carrots, seaweed, nuts, and a lot more. It is a multicolored dish that is savory and beautiful to the eyes. This food is also packed with nutrition that can keep a king working on his kingdom and the farmers plowing on the fields.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Coming in at number 2 on our list is the Kongnamul Gukbap, which is not necessarily a dish that is descended from royalty, but born out of necessity and desperation. The end of World War II in 1945 did not bring ultimate peace to the Korean peninsula. After the United States forces dropped 2 atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the world powers began to establish their own spheres of influence in the world. Countries were divided between superpowers like Vietnam, Germany, and of course Korea. This unstable era is now known as the Cold War. The Korean War was a terrible time for Koreans. Food was scarce, and the farmers could not plant their usual crops on their lands, nor could the fishermen harvest safely in the waters. Such troubles forced the people to be innovative with the few resources that they had, and so Kongnamul Gukbap came to existence. Kongnamul Gukbap is a soup dish that is easy to make, and at the same time very tasty. Its broth is made with anchovies, kelp, and soybean sprouts, giving it a distinctly umami flavor. Soybean sprouts are a beloved ingredient in Korean cuisine because they are very easy to cultivate, have a subtle flavor, and give a crunchy texture to the dish. Kimchi is also added to the soup to give it a sour and spicy flavor, and lastly rice is added to make the soup more filling and thick.
Woo! Yeah!
By the 1970s, Kongnamul Gukbap was already a widely known soup dish, a common food item in the Jeonju Nambu market and the Jeonju train station. In recent years, it has turned into a specialty dish in various restaurants inside and outside the Jeolla province. What a long way it has traveled. Coming in at number 3 on our list, we have Chueo-Tang, a dish that has humble and somewhat lonely origins, but became a well-loved warm dish that found its roots back from the old Joseon dynasty. Koreans have a very intimate relationship with their lands, and these lands are very fertile and can provide wonderful sources of nutrition. The word Chueo-Tang came from the words cho, which means pond loach, a type of freshwater fish. Meanwhile, tang simply means soup, coming together to create pond loach soup. During the Chubun season, or autumnal equinox, the irrigated paddies are drained. As a result, fat pond loaches that are ready for hibernation are easily caught by the farmers who dug trenches around their field. Chueo-Tang was often served as a dish served at banquets honoring the old people. Chueo-Tang somewhat developed a somber reputation during the Joseon dynasty in the city of Hanyang, which is now known as Seoul. A guild of licensed panhandlers, also known as beggars, mandated a rule that its members beg only for rice. They were not allowed to beg for banchan, also known as side dishes, or guk, known as soup. Instead, as compensation, the panhandlers were allowed to hunt pond loaches and make their own Chueo-Tang.
This is a business.
They were also given the exclusive rights to sell Chueo-Tang in the city. Pond loaches are boiled until the flesh is tender, then the bone and skin are removed. The gathered flesh is then boiled with beef broth or chicken stock, mixed with gochujang to have a spicy taste, doenjang or soybean paste, grated ginger, and ground pepper. Seasonal vegetables are then added, such as mung bean sprouts, scallions, Korean mint leaves, or perilla powder, giving an aromatic and mint-like flavor. This dish can indeed open up your nostrils during the cold rainy days after the farming season. Number 4 in our list is Jeolla province's answer to the European carpaccio and steak tartare, the Yukhoe. Yukhoe is a raw meat dish in Korean cuisine. There is an old cookbook dating back to the 19th century with the title Sijunsu. The author's name was lost in history, although most historians believe that he or she was associated with the noble class, or maybe was a noble herself. Yukhoe was made by soaking the thin layers of beef to remove the blood, and then marinated in spices, nuts, spring onions, minced garlic, honey, sesame, and salt. It has a dipping sauce made with gochujang, chili pepper mix, with sugar and vinegar as a condiment, often mixed with pepper or honey. Nowadays, different restaurants have their own secret recipes, with the meat marinated in various spices and often served with an egg yolk. Eating Yukhoe can be quite challenging for people who do not love to explore, especially if
It's raw!
However, raw meat is actually a delicacy in various cuisines around the world. The freshness of the meat is a badge of honor and merit in high-class restaurants, and that's why it became a staple food in the royal courts of the Joseon nobles. A fresh meat is a safe meat to put in your mouth, even if it's raw.
That's what she said.
Freshness of the meat is seriously a great factor in eating it safely, and Korean restaurants have a tight relationship with their butchers to ensure the quality of their products. This in turn creates trust between the customers and the chef. So, if you are planning to eat Yukhoe, choose your restaurants carefully. You can't just put meat in your mouth and not know how it's prepared. Coming in at number 5 on our list is another Jeolla province dish that will surely challenge the bravest eaters.
Oh, okay.
For our number 5, we have Hongheo, a type of fermented fish made from skate. No, not that skate, like the skateboard, but this skate, like the fish. A skate is a cartilaginous fish that discharges uric acid through its skin. Unlike other animals that do it normally just by, peeing.
Oh my god!
During the fermentation process, the fish produces ammonia, which helps preserve its flesh, giving it its distinct odor. Originally, Hongheo served as a mere means to keep the fish edible even after long periods. Can be transported during long travels and will not rot even without the use of salt. Such processes is important in a time when refrigeration was not yet invented. The process of creating Hongheo is older than the Joseon dynasty, going back way long to the Goryeo era. Today, this fermented dish is served in small slabs, just like the sashimi of Japan. On the contrary, some Jeolla natives argue that Hongheo should be eaten plain, although some people like to eat it with kimchi and bosam. This delicacy can also be eaten while drinking makgeolli, a Korean alcoholic beverage to counter the strongly pungent flavor of the dish. Cheers to that! Coming in at number 6, let's go to the southern parts of the Jeolla province where seafood is a dominant ingredient. Jeju Island is famous for its crab dish known as Gejang, a variant of jitgul, which refers to any salted and fermented seafood in Korean cuisine. Gejang is literally raw crabs marinated in either soy sauce or any chili powdered based sauce. Ge means crab in Korean, while jang translates as condiment or sauce. The earliest records referencing Gejang can be traced back to the Joseon dynasty, in a book with the title Salim Gongje, which translates as farm management. Gejang was also mentioned in a woman's encyclopedia named Guhap Jangso. According to these texts, the core foundation of the Gejang recipe is by marinating the crabs in a sediment of liquor, salt, and alcoholic beverage. This procedure extends the shelf life of the crab dish, as well as improving its taste. This recipe was founded in the late 17th century, and now new recipes for Gejang have been made, such as the addition of soy sauce, vinegar, and other contemporary condiments. Crabs were believed to lower the body temperature, and eating it can alleviate the spring fever. Therefore, it can be inferred that Gejang was a recipe for practical uses that eventually evolved into a very delicious delicacy. Last on our list is a palate cleanser that we deserve for after a savory journey. Yuja-Hwachae is a fruit punch sipped by the ancient Korean nobles of the Joseon dynasty, a beverage that can rival modern cocktails. This beverage is not only good for curing a person's thirst, but also for its aesthetic qualities. Yuja-Hwachae is made with yuja, a type of citrus fruit, Korean pear, and honey or sugar. The yuja is carefully slit down into a quarter to peel off its rind and to keep the flesh intact. The fruit is then sliced to segments with the seeds out, and the rinds were taken to extract the zest. Afterwards, the yuja's flesh is squeezed to get the juice mixed with the syrup composed of water and sugar. Then the zest and pear are elegantly arranged into a bowl. The syrup will be added and let the flavor set for about 30 minutes. The result is an exquisite chilled drink worthy of a Joseon princess. Yuja-Hwachae is a traditional beverage during the autumn season, especially on the traditional Korean festival called Jeonju, where the two yangs or positive cosmic forces are overlapped on the date of the festival. A sweet drink for a sweet occasion indeed. Thanks again for tuning in with us here at Foodie Legends for our latest episode. I hope you enjoyed this video and got a nice taste into the interesting foods that South Korea's Jeolla province has to offer. Before you go, be sure to like this video and click the subscribe button for more delicious content every week. We'd love to hear your thoughts too, so leave a comment below to let us know what your favorite part of the video was, or if you just want to leave us with a few thoughts. You guys are awesome. Thanks again for watching. See you guys on the next one.